This is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Let's get ready to
Welcome to the Junkyard Pod. I'm Tony Pesta, joined by Jackson Flickinger, and the Cleveland Cavaliers put up a fight. Mainly, they put up a third-quarter fight. There was some momentum in the fourth quarter, but it slowly dwindled. I went into this game expecting that it could get ugly. It did get ugly, and then it got fun and exciting, so a little bit of a mixed bag here. Jackson, what was your overall takeaway to their 114-104 loss to the Houston Rockets?
All right, let's get into this. Kenny Atkinson said before the game, asked about the rebounding. Like, the Rockets rebound like 45% of their missed shots.
Number
which is
one
absurd.
offensive rebounding team in the NBA. They basically have a 50-50 chance of getting their own miss.
Which is a lot. And as you loyal Cavaliers fans probably have heard, the Cavs struggle with that.
You might have heard this.
You might have heard. If you were here in 2023.
It's gotten to the point where maybe it's always been like this, but I have noticed it being at these games now. Every time the opponent gets an offensive rebound, the entire arena just like it's a collective groan, just like, oh my God, please someone get a rebound. They, I don't want to cut you off. I'll let you continue cooking.
No, so like Kenny said before the game, like when asked, like, hey, like how do you stop these guys since you can't rebound? They didn't say that, obviously. But that was the gist. Everyone knew what was implied. And Kenny was like, the thing that we need to do is we can't change who we are. We can't basically change our whole game, try to be somebody we're not, try to get all these million boards. It's like, hey, we need to play our identity. We need to stick to our identity, play our style, and hope that wins in the end.
And what is that style?
That's
no one's quite sure yet.
And that's, I think, the question where it's like, well, you watch the Houston Rockets and you say, yes, this team wants to win on the glass. Everyone in their starting lineup is 6'8", which is massive.
Yeah.
That's like
huge. The Cavs tried to match it.
So
they tried to match it today.
Right.
They started Naquan Tomlin in place of Sam Merrill. Only Donovan Mitchell was the only one under 6'8", I believe.
You mean only Amen Thompson?
No, the Cavs starting lineup, I'm saying.
Oh.
They tried to match Houston by going relatively big in their starting lineup. Started Tomlin.
Didn't feel the same. This is news to me. But yeah, so it's like the Cavs don't have an identity, and I think that comes through. The Cavs' identity so far this season is Donovan Mitchell going to score 35 points? And if the decision tree says no, then it's like, well, what are we going to do then? Because they're not a good three-point shooting team. They take a lot of threes. They're not a good three-point shooting team. They're not a team that gets to the basket. They've talked about wanting to win the possession battle. You're not going to win the possession battle if you give up 19 offensive rebounds and you only have, how many did they have?
Cavs 10? Had 10 offensive rebounds. The Rockets had 16. So
that's it's tough because that only counts.
Yeah,
there's
the team rebounds.
More of the story is that I think the second chance points 26 to something absurd.
It is second chance points 21 to 6. Yeah,
so this is they imposed their style, whereas the Cavs don't really have a style right now, and that's where it's a little bit of a question mark. And I think that kind of comes from, we've talked about this in years past, the Cavs not really having a style, because it's like you have the two bigs, you have the two guards, and they're both kind of trying to balance each other out.
Yeah.
That's kind of been the issue pre-Kenny Atkinson, and then last year it became the super free-flowing offense. The ball's moving, everyone's getting to the basket. There's just so much movement and everything that you kind of forgot about those issues. But then once the wheels aren't spinning exactly like you want them to, then it becomes a lot of this felt like a JB Bickerstaff 2023 game where it's you're like, well, is Donovan going to save us? Is he? If he's not going to save us, then who is going to save us? So that's where the Cavs are just kind of in this really weird spot where it doesn't feel like they have an identity. And Kenny, when he talks about this, he gives a different answer every time. And he talks about how they want to win the possession game and they want to do things like that. But that doesn't that's like what they want. It's not necessarily what is actually happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why that's such an emphasis anyways, because that wasn't an emphasis last year and they were really good last year. So anyway, it's just all weird.
Entering this game, the main thing that I was looking for, like everyone knows Houston, basically no matter what you do, they're going to beat you up on the glass, especially if you're a Cavs team that isn't always great at winning the glass, especially the defensive glass. You know that the possession battle is going to be tough tonight. I thought their main chance at narrowing that gap and winning this game was two different things. One, generating turnovers, which the Cavs, despite us kind of complaining about it, they've actually been top 5, top 10 in generating turnovers all season long. The defense is still 8th in defensive rating. They actually held Houston to 17 points in the third quarter, which was the fewest points they've scored in a quarter apparently all season. So despite our complaints about the defense, there have been some results that look positive. Again, we kind of side-eye the process, but to me, I was like, okay, they're probably going to lose on the glass, but can you turn Houston over? And, you take the most three-pointers in the NBA. Houston takes the fewest. Could you make up for it by making some? Unfortunately, they didn't. The Cavs shot 12 of 39 from deep. That's 30%. Houston, 9 of 24, 37%. The fact that you only made 3 more threes than Houston and you only turned them over one more time than you turned the ball over, 13 turnovers for Houston,
and
which is
15 more threes.
below their average, and they out-rebounded you by 12. You weren't going to win this game. Now, you mentioned who's going to save you when Donovan Mitchell isn't scoring 35.
Hold on. One thing, let's talk about Donovan Mitchell real quick.
Yeah.
Because
the
Rockets, one of the things that everyone talked about afterwards, Rockets blitz Mitchell, said, hey, we'll force somebody else besides Mitchell to beat us. And you can do that a lot easier when you have a bunch of 6'8 guys. We've seen this in the playoffs because teams can key in on Donovan a lot easier than you can key in on a 6'8 guy. Like, it's easier to key in on him than it is Luka Doncic, Jokic, because you can't physically stay with people like that the same way. And Donovan is about as physically gifted as you can be at 6'2". So this is not a slight at him, but it's just sort of how it works.
It's been that way forever.
Right, and it's going to continue being that way. So I think that them being able to do that is not surprising, but that's why Evan Mobley's so important. That's why Darius Garland's so important, even though Darius Garland also kind of falls into the 6'2" bucket. But that's why you have to sort of have these other counters, and that's where, when they were starting the season, emphasizing Evan Mobley a lot, it's like, this makes a lot of sense. And you could also see how DeAndre Hunter was able to have a pretty good game, because when you key in on Donovan like that, other people are going to be open. So it's just weird. I didn't make that point good, but I think you can kind of put together where I'm a little scattered.
If we're being scattered, then I'll give you a few scattered thoughts here. One thing that I've been thinking entering this game, and I think it looked true tonight, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I've seen them tweeted. The Cavs are good when they play multiple point guards together, or just multiple guards who can handle the ball. This starting lineup is not that. It was, again, Donovan, Naquan Tomlin, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. Not a lot of shooting, not a lot of ball handling. Now, I thought Tomlin was very helpful in this game, but when we talk about style, we talk about their process. That's just not a very good 2025 basketball lineup. When Donovan Mitchell's paired with Lonzo Ball, I think the offense makes sense. When he's paired with Craig Porter Jr., I think the offense makes sense. When he's paired with Darius Garland, all-star point guard, it all makes sense. I think they've gotten away from that a little bit, almost, because the guys have been injured, right? Like, Darius Garland hasn't been out there. It's hard to have Donovan Mitchell on the court with the starting lineup and with the backups. You can only play so many minutes per game. But I thought that the 3-guard lineup was helpful. I thought Lonzo Ball and Craig Porter Jr. really changed the game in the third quarter, their defense, their activity. Craig has just been on a heater for a month straight. He's been awesome. He was great again tonight. 7 rebounds from Craig Porter Jr. Talk about chipping in on the glass when you need him. Dean Wade, 7 rebounds. I did a first in Fear the Sword history, I believe. I split the player grades, offense and defense, for Dean Wade, because he was so bad on offense tonight. He was really bad. I will say he made a couple good cuts, took good shots, but I believe that at one point he was 0 of 7, 0 of 5 0 of 4 from the floor, and 0 for 3 on free throws. It was a really bad Dean Wade night offensively. Defensively, he was legit. He was awesome. They put him on Doing at one point. It looked really good. And then back to that Donovan Mitchell point. Starts the game 1 of 7. Just doesn't really have it coming out the gates. Ends up getting hot in the fourth quarter. Scores 19 points on, I believe, 7 of 10 shooting in the fourth quarter. But that's where you'd really like to see Evan Mobley step up. That's where you'd like to see even like DeAndre Hunter had a great game. I thought he could have had the ball a little bit more often. 25 points on 11 shots. Might have been a night where DeAndre had to get a couple more up there.
What I would say is the Cavs scored 34 points in the fourth quarter. I'm not gonna quibble about the offense in the fourth quarter.
First half,
I think
the offense was bad.
The issue is more so Naquan Tomlin and Craig Porter Jr. and Jalen Tyson, who didn't play today, have been awesome. And every time they're on the floor, you're like, man, they're doing so much. And I think the issue is you shouldn't be thinking that. You shouldn't be thinking, wow, we really needed the energy that Craig is providing or the energy Naquan is providing, because other people, presumably your starters, are playing with that same energy and force. And they're not. And that's where you need your best players to set the tempo, and not necessarily Craig Porter Jr. shouldn't be coming in and setting the tempo for your team. So.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think we should wrap it? It's getting a little noisy. Do we have any other takes
Yeah,
here?
that's about it.
Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of the
Bob
Junkyard
sucks.
Pod.
Bob,
It's a very short one.
Bob probably sent everybody here to tear down the
Yes,
board.
maybe it's a conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy.
No,
everybody likes Bob for some reason. We don't get it.
We want to get out of the way so that everyone can do their job. We're taking up space here. So thank you guys for watching or listening. I'm sure we have plenty more Cavs thoughts.
At least the lighting was good.
The lighting was good. They didn't turn the lights off this time. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment, and we'll see you next time. Go Cavs.
I agree. Go Cavs.